Katzcradul. We've decided to get rid of the loading dock look in our house with sacks of food stacked everywhere. There's some right there that I showed you the other day. And anyway, Prepper A and I are working on it today. And the first thing I wanted to unload is this, I guess it maybe was a 25-pound bag of oatmeal that I got at the cannery. The reason I want to do it first is because the whole beans and the whole wheat and the rice, that can sit and wait a little while. But oatmeal, since it is not, it's still a whole grain, but it's been crushed and opened up and exposed to oxygen. So the bran in the oatmeal, or the germ in the oatmeal, is exposed now. And over time, if it sits in this kind of like a thick paper bag, if it sits in it very long, it will begin to take on the taste of that paper, just as oatmeal that comes in the cardboard canisters. If it sits very long, it will begin to taste like cardboard. So it's the thing I want to get it boxed up first. I have a little problem with my shoulder right now, so I can't quite lift this bag without Pellet and Prepper being home to do it for me. So I'm just using an old yogurt container just to reach in and scoop it out and then load it into my buckets lined with Mylar. I only have 5 big 20-inch by 30-inch Mylar bags right now, so I washed 4 of my 5-gallon buckets and lined them with the bags. And so I'm going to load this up with oatmeal first, and then I'll decide what else I want to do. There are 100 videos on how to load a Mylar bag and put oxygen absorbers and all that in it, but I do it maybe just a little bit differently, so I'm going to show you that. I get everything ready. I have my iron here, and you can see the light on it's heating. I have it set on about wool. You don't need it much hotter than that. I've got my fresh package of oxygen absorbers here. I have way more than 4, so these happen to be, this thing never focuses very good. These are 2,000 cc oxygen absorbers, and the way I seal my bags, it's plenty, it does plenty good to suck the residual oxygen out. You can see the little red tablet up there. The red tablet tells you that your oxygen absorbers are still fresh. If it turns blue, don't use those oxygen absorbers. It won't be any good. Now, right after you open this sack, that oxygen absorber will start turning a little blue. But then once you seal the absorbers up again, it'll turn red, which means they're still active. I have this handy. This is a jar, because the oxygen absorbers that are left over are going to go in my mason jar, and I'm going to seal the lid on it, and it will suck down tight in just a few minutes. In fact, you'll hear the lid ping because it'll be sucking the oxygen out of a jar. But you want to put, I chose a pint jar instead of a quart jar because you want to put your leftover oxygen absorbers, I don't know why I can't say that, that you're not going to use. You want to put them in the smallest container you can because you don't want them being loaded up with oxygen. So they'll probably fit here. The other thing I did, you need to move out of the way, your face is going to be on the video. The other thing I did when I opened the sack is I was out of regular oats in my kitchen, so I bought this really nice plastic container for 25 cents at a Boy Scout garage sale. It's a great container for 25 cents. So I loaded it up with oatmeal first so that we can use it here, and then the rest is going to go in the Mylar sack. Okay, we're back, and we've loaded oxygen absorbers in all of the bags. We've got our upholstery tool, the little pointed upholstery tool to our vacuum cleaner attachment. Prepper A's inserted that into the hole that we left open. She's going to turn the vacuum on. It's going to suck all the oxygen out. When I start seeing the individual beans down here, I know it's out. And then I'm going to come back with the iron and seal this little space closed. Okay? All right. It's going to be a little noisy. Let's go ahead and do it, Prepper A. There you go. Now it's sucking it out. I feel the oxygen absorber is hot. It's doing its job. Okay, so here's what, let me close up a little around you here. Okay. Take it out quickly. I'm going to seal where she came out there. readjust that on my board just a little bit more. That looks really good. Now be careful because that bag's hot where you've ironed. So I'm going to go over it one more time. Would you put that up on there and help me out a little bit, please? Go ahead and set it on there. If you use both hands, it'll work.
Sure.
There you go. Okay, sealing it down. Sealing the opening down. All right, that's nice and tight. Remember, where you've just ironed is very hot, but I've got a good seal on it, and looky here. I can see the individual beans in my bag. That means, oh, and there's my oxygen absorber. It's really hot. Because there's a chemical reaction going on in that oxygen absorber, in my estimation, it's probably metal filings in that bag with salt in there, and you know that the salt will make the iron corrode, and in that process that requires oxygen. So as soon as that little packet's exposed to air, that chemical reaction begins to happen. So it's using up the oxygen in that bag. But that oxygen absorber does not have to work very hard. At the same time, I'll come back and check them, make sure I can still see the product through the foil. That way I know that's good and tight. If it looks loose and it doesn't look like this tomorrow, then I know I've got to fail. The great thing about having these big bags is that I can cut off right where I sealed it, throw another oxygen absorber in, and reseal it and try again. That's why I love these 20 by 30 inch bags. They're about $1.50 a piece. I'll do a video next week on where I get them and why I like the company so much. But that's a good seal on that bag. And we'll just check it in the morning. If it still looks like that, I'm going to put the lid on and label it beans and the date that I did it and store it away. Maybe that'll give you an idea. Use that crevice tool. It really helps to suck all that oxygen out, and you know that you've got it all out. Katzcradul.